started being really interested in like comics and animation, and that's sort of where I started with my style. And I think I've just sort of like developed my mural style from a sort of like fantastical illustrative mode. Hey, I'm Lauren Wyas. I'm from Denver, Colorado. Currently live in Los Angeles. I think I've been painting murals for about 7 or 8 years now.
How has your aesthetic evolved? Are you professionally trained or are you self-taught?
I'm not very technically trained, but I've been making stuff my whole life. And I think I've just sort of developed my style over the years by just like practicing and like also what's available spray paint wise.
Are there other mediums that you experiment with?
Yeah, I think it can be really cool to like work in other mediums and then bring what you discovered with those mediums back into like the other mediums. So like during the pandemic, for example, I was like, shoot, I really don't have that many mural projects going on, but like I figured out a lot of different things like blending with acrylics and experimenting with those that I'm bringing back into my spray paint.
I would love to hear a little bit more about your ventures into the digital space.
The digital space feels really like familiar to me, just the like ease of access to color and like shifting, and so I want to keep expanding my abilities digitally. It make a lot of sense for what I do.
Can you tell us more about the narrative behind your work?
Yeah, it just makes me feel better, especially about making work that talks about my sexuality or my heritage, knowing that like the proceeds or like the monetary and cultural good that it creates is also like shared, because I often like worry about co-opting my identity and like my very intimate like life. It just feels good because I'm like, cool, right? I have a career that's like up and running now, but I want it to be like a mechanism of good.
If you could go back in a time machine to your 18-year-old self, what advice would you give?
I would probably just tell myself to like chill out and have faith that everything is gonna be okay. When you're young, it's like scary. You're like, well, I really want to make change and I want to do cool things and be creative, but the world is really scary sometimes, and it's really hard to avoid getting comfortable or like getting shystered into corners where you might do things that you didn't want to do, and before you know it, you're like a normie.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Cool, no worries. Thank you.